And that brings us to Israel, where despite this U.S. assessment, there's real fear that Iran is making so much progress on the nuclear front that the next attack could hit home. NBC's Stephanie Gosk with us from Tel Aviv tonight. Stephanie, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Well, people in this country feel that they have the most to fear from a nuclear-armed Iran, especially after repeated threats from Iranian leaders. There is a heated debate going on right now over what to do about it, including whether or not Israel should attack Iran's nuclear facilities on its own. 3 separate attacks this week in 3 separate countries. Just a taste of what the world can expect unless Iran is stopped. That was the message from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today, just moments after Iran's nuclear announcement. He called Iran the world's greatest exporter of terrorism. Israeli officials have made it clear that they believe Tehran orchestrated the attacks against Israeli diplomats. The same type of small magnetic bombs used in India and Georgia were found in the Bangkok apartment rented by 3 Iranians. Tehran today denied the accusations, even though officials there have vowed revenge for the assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists, attacks it blames on Israel. It is all part of what many are now calling a covert war between the 2 countries, triggered by Iran's nuclear ambitions. There's a heightened state of alert here in Israel and at Israeli embassies around the world, but the real concern is that softer targets could be hit, places like Jewish centers and synagogues outside of the country. Israel will likely not retaliate yet, says terrorism expert Yoram Schweitzer. Instead, officials have issued this warning to Tehran.
That you are exposed, we know that you are responsible, we can take it for now, but be warned.
It is just the latest warning in recent weeks. This was a publicized military exercise last month. Israeli paratroopers simulated invading a foreign country, raising an unanswered question. Are the warnings a prelude to an attack on Iran or a diplomatic strategy to avoid one? The talk publicly of a unilateral attack seems to have died down, and although Netanyahu's speech today was tough, it seemed more an appeal to the world for help rather than a threat that Israel was getting ready to strike back, Brian.
Stephanie Gosk rounding out our coverage from Tel Aviv tonight. Stephanie, thanks.